And I think just that fact alone has really helped open up the offense.
On the move. A lot of time. Directing traffic. Gonna go deep. Has a man deep. It is caught for the touchdown. Corey Davis.
I mean, maybe listen just in case. Get it? The docket is gold. My pockets are swole. Stop, drop, and roll. At lock, I'm the gold. It doesn't get old. Each episode, I just download. I'm just a fella that's hella intelligent now that I got me the code. Build me a yellow brick road. Hey, chillin', feelin'. How could I be this gifted? Millions, reelin'. Frying up all of these fish sticks. Enter all these competitions. I ain't seen no competition. Justice served can't stop the system. I suggest y'all stop and listen. Please rise, sit down. Pot is in session, get rich now. Invest in the best, yes. The investigator is nothing but fresh. Please rise, sit down. Pot is in session, get rich now. Go by the book, yeah. The lawyer is loyal, now come take a look. Go.
Booker, let's go! Welcome to the DFS Docket, part of the Undroppables Network. Honest Abe, the DFS detective. Channing comes here with you. Justin, ping pong. Sorry, bro.
Don't worry about it. You can call me ping pong ball. It's fine.
Ping pong. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be ping pong from here on out. We are back with you live now, June 24th, 2022. Dude, guys, I said dude, but I mean both of you. It's been way too long since we've all sat across from each other. Obviously, a lot of things going on in the real world and life and all that. And yeah, we're going to come back.
Yeah, I'll apologize to the crowd. It was all me.
Yeah.
It was the monkeypox, dude. I got him.
Dude, you're out there looking for aliens and taking flights on UFOs across countries. And so
UFOs, aliens on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff going on.
On the way, I got monkeypox, so I'm good. Shrug that shit off. Let's roll.
Dude, I got legitimately poison ivy across like my both arms, my leg. I don't know what's going on. It hurts like hell, but whatever. We'll push through it. On tonight's docket, I'm super excited for this. We're gonna have a few of these before the regular season starts. We are having a mock draft, and I absolutely love mock draft season. It's probably my favorite time of the year, with all the different nuances and different kind of ways you can go with things. It is so much fun to do. And tonight we randomly selected we're going to be picking out of the 5th spot, and we're going to put this all together as a team. We're going to do one team out of the 5th spot. The three of us haven't really done much together before, so it's going to be really interesting to see the thoughts and mindsets of all of us picking one player and the draft strategies as we go. But before we get into tonight's mock draft, let's get into our headlines, and those are actually brought to you by the host of the greatest place to draft, and that is the Sleeper app. You need to get on Sleeper. It is the absolute 101 of just everything fantasy football, basketball, all that stuff, prop bets, everything you can think of in the fantasy aspect. You got to go to Sleeper, download the Sleeper app today, and mention the Undroppables, and you might get some cool stuff or something like that. But here are tonight's headlines. And I suck because I forgot to play the cool video that my son made, and I just played the audio instead. But, oh, damn, now it's playing again. All right, there we go. One big headline tonight, Alvin Kamara, earlier in the offseason, kind of got into a little altercation with some dude, allegedly, might not have. Some people might have been involved. Who knows? But apparently he's bracing for a 6-game suspension, which goes directly into the NFL's policy towards violence outside of the game. Channing, I'll start with you. 6-game suspension, if true and upholds and everything, how much lower in your rankings would Alvin Kamara be placed?
A lot. I mean, in the world of running backs, we're talking tiers. You got to drop them a tier, if not 2. You have Mark Ingram, who's alive and well, but he's there. I don't know.
Well, he might be walking with a cane, but
PPR tonight. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of that offense this year. I really think with Olave, they're going to move it, but 6 games is a lot. Kamara used to be his commodity, used to be a lock in the first. Man, I could see him going third, fourth round, easy, which is wild because Kamara used to be a lock at the top. Not anymore. And on that note, there's a lot of running backs this year that are doing that same thing. Used to be
We'll get into them. We'll get into them more into our mock draft. We'll get into them more. But Justin, is he a league winner in your mind? Is he somebody that because of the suspension is going to drop so low that you're potentially having this guy in the 4th, 5th round that can just sit on your bench and come championship week, he's fresh, and now you got to face Alvin Kamara as somebody's RB2.
Oh, yeah. If you can get him at the right price, I definitely would still target him because we all know what he's capable of. You just have to keep in mind that while he may be able to win for you later on in the year, if he does serve that 6-game suspension, he can't necessarily get you there. So what I would say is, if you do end up with him, you need to plan your team around that and make sure that, those first few games of the season, if he is facing that suspension, that you're not going to be losing 3-4 games and then you're kind of already behind the 8 ball a little bit.
All right, you guys ready to do some mock drafting? Because I'm giddy about this. I do apologize to all those watching on YouTube that I suck at doing this, and I do hope that it comes out as clear as I wanted to. It probably won't. Like let's be real about it. I'm just god awful at this thing. So let's try and do this.
That's what happens when we put you in charge.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Also, someone's snagging Kamara for 2nd round.
I wouldn't personally.
Not with
someone is.
Looming.
Well, someone will. Yes. Is that someone very smart? No, I wouldn't think so.
Well,
let's be real about it right now.
Oh yeah,
let's be real about it right now. Also,
won't even be up. But
if we know by 2 weeks before the season starts what the suspension is going to be, if any at all, that's going to change things. If it's a 2-game suspension, yeah, I'll still take him in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
If it's a 6-game suspension, yeah, I'm still willing to go 4th, 5th round, absolutely, because of the high upside and incredible value for a guy, especially a running back that can miss you 6 games anyway without being suspended. So, all right, let's get to the mock draft. We're going to hit the start button, and we're off. Like I said, we're picking out of the 5 spot. Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, CMC, Austin Eckler, all go in the top 4. Not very surprising, in my opinion. I would have taken any one of those 4 guys if they had dropped to us. The 5 spot is a very interesting one.
Yep.
And we're looking at the top guys here. Obviously, we have a couple of the top receivers, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams. And then your top running backs are Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, my guy DeAndre Swift, who I do think is a little high at 5, despite my love for him. I know which direction I'd like to go in personally. Which direction are you guys feeling right now?
I'd be tempted to take the first elite wideout off the board and take Cooper Kupp. I'm not sure he can fully replicate that season of seasons though, so I think you go the safe route and take either Cook or Harris.
What about you, Channing?
I'm going Najee. He's gonna be a high volume player. He will be the rock until they can put Kenny Pickett in there. I had him last year, and that guy started catching balls out of the backfield like he was a DeAndre Swift. I'm all about Najee this year. I think Najee should be up there. He's a safe pick. You have to go running back here too. As much as I want to go wide receiver, it's tough. You need a rock at running back. I'm going Najee Harris.
I'm with you with the running back. I think you can get incredible value at receiver much later in the draft. And you're right, Justin. There's no way Cooper Kupp puts up the same numbers that he did last year to get you that value. We saw with Mike Thomas a couple of years ago where he was being talked about in the top 4 or 5 picks, and then he fell off the face of the earth. So I'm not saying Cooper Kupp's going to do that like Mike Thomas, but I just don't expect him to put up. Yeah, he's still might finish as the wide receiver 1, but I don't think it's going to be towards the same level. Now, with this pick, I would go with Dalvin Cook. I think he's more reliable than Najee Harris, has a much greater proven track record than Najee Harris. So, Justin, you are the tiebreaker here. I think we're all in agreement between Dalvin Cook and Najee Harris going into the running back position. So you are the tiebreaker between Cook and Harris.
My vote is we're taking it to the kitchen and taking Cook. That's my vote.
There we go. Dalvin Cook is the pick. Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson followed by Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. Kamara won first. I can't see who won the second. At 12, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea who got picked in the 12th, 12th pick. I don't know what's going on here.
For all
Somebody
those
went
listening, Honest Abe is still on dial-up. That's our issue here.
No, my internet's cool. I don't know what is going on. Oh well. Well, Stephon Diggs went to Team 11. Mark Andrews, DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen. So again, we're back on the clock at the 2:08. And again, do you guys want to go running back? We have the options of Saquon, Javonte, Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott. We can go with a receiver here, of course. CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown available. Tight end, we can go Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Darren Waller. I'm staying away from the quarterback. I'm not doing that anytime soon. At least that's not how I draft. Are you guys the types to take quarterbacks incredibly early in drafts?
For the right guy, sometimes. Like, I was in a draft a little bit ago where they did the 3rd round reversal, and I was in a position to take Josh Allen, so I did. But generally speaking, I think what you got to do here, if there's any wide receiver to take out of who's left, I would maybe consider Deebo. But as you said, you can get value at wide receiver pretty deep. I think you try and take the best back off the board here and stack that really high running back room.
I agree with you, Justin. Channing, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's see him. Throw those backs up there. Saquon's up there, but he scares me. Who else we got?
Yeah.
So you got Saquon, you got Javonte. Obviously, if Melvin Gordon wasn't there, Javonte is probably a top 7 pick, but he is there, so we don't not really sure. Aaron Jones, again, I think he's going to get a majority.
I love Aaron Jones.
So do I. I think with losing Devontae Adams and not bringing in any significant receiving pieces, you're going to see a lot more of Aaron Jones in the passing game, and A.J. Dillon maybe getting some more of the workload from the running game. But I don't think you're going to see a significantly diminished role from Aaron Jones in the run game. He might lose 5 to 7 carries per game, but he's going to make up for it in the passing game. So I'm 100% in on Aaron Jones right here. That would be my pick.
I agree.
Channing, Aaron Jones?
Agreed.
Aaron Jones it is. Congratulations, Mr. Aaron Jones.
Agreed.
You are now on
Aaron
our
Jones.
fake team in a fake draft. Deebo, Saquon, CD, Kyle Pitts, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans. Oh, I wanted Mike Evans. Playoff Lenny, Javonte falls to 304. And we're back on the clock at the 305. And again, we can triple up on running backs. I'm not a huge proponent of that. I do like balancing my team out a little bit. The tight end position, George Kittle, Darren Waller still there and available if needed.
Excuse me. Let's see.
What's your guys' thoughts?
Throw me those receivers right there.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
don't
guy.
love having Keenan Allen as my number one.
Keenan Allen.
Actually, maybe Deontay Johnson, though, but I almost lean, given the pass catchers who are there, I almost lean towards taking Kittle or Waller there because you get an elite person at that position. That's almost kind of where I'm leaning at this point.
Is this easier to see, by the way? If they do, no, not that. Definitely not that. Is that easier for you guys to see?
Oh, I can see it just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chaney, Justin, you want to go with the tight end? Where do you want to go?
Beautiful
That's
face.
where I'm leaning. Yeah.
I want to go Keenan Allen. I think Justin Herbert is going to blow the fantasy world up. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was a stud. He continues to be a stud. It's going to lock down your wide receiver position. I see where Justin's going, though. I have gone tight end early. It's that tier thing. If you don't get a tight end early, you don't get one of the top guys now, then you have to wait till the end of the draft.
And I'm absolutely okay with that. Tight end is a position I'm very okay with streaming a tight end. Now let me bring this one guy up to you because it's not a receiver. And I did mention that I'm not a huge fan or proponent of going 3 running backs. But again, we're in a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. We will pick a defense at the end and 5 bench spots. James Conner with Arizona, he put up a boatload of touchdowns, which I don't expect to happen again. However, they didn't bring in any other competition at the running back position. So I think James Conner is lined up again to have another incredibly successful season. And again, with the running back position, the volatility of injuries, if Dalvin Cook tends to go down every now and then. If you're in a game if you're in a matchup where Dalvin Cook's out, and now you still have Aaron Jones and James Conner as your top 2 guys, that's something I'm pretty excited about.
Oh yeah. Well, and if nothing else, by taking 3 pretty strong, solid guys at running back, assuming they all do well enough, you could use one as trade bait to improve your team in other ways. So
Yes.
that's not necessarily the worst idea. Yeah.
I would go James Conner here because I don't see the value with the receivers. Keenan Allen, I agree with you. I like a ton. The injury history scares me. The age scares me a little bit. They did re-sign Mike Williams, gave him a big contract. So I'm not saying Keenan Allen's a bad play because I do like Keenan Allen. I'd rather him 1 round later. T. Higgins, another name. I'm just not a big Joe Burrow guy. But Channing, I think it's your turn to make that official pick. So who do you want to go with?
Go James Conner. I'm sold. We do have the flex. If you want to win in fantasy, you need strong running backs. It's just a fact. Give me James Conner.
Absolutely. Antonio Gibson, Keenan Allen went at the 307. Patrick Mahomes, second quarterback off the board. Ezekiel Elliott, Bryce Hall. DK Metcalf's off the board. We just lost the 2 tight ends, Darren Waller and George Kittle, went back-to-back in the 4th. And we're sitting here at the 408. We have 3 running backs. It probably is a good time to go at receiver here. And the top guys on the board are Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman. I'm inclined here to probably double up on receivers. That would be where I would go tight end. We lost out on the top guys. So I'm gonna wait till pretty much the end of your defense is how I would play it. I'd double up on receivers here, and I would try to go with one guy that is a known commodity, a solid, what you're getting every week, and another one with a high upside. So you don't exactly have, here's your wide receiver 1, here's your wide receiver 2, but it's kind of like they're both 1.5, if you want to say, if that makes any sense. To me, I'd like to go Jalen Waddle here with a huge upside, and on the goal and the comeback, go with Amari Cooper or Cortland Sutton. I actually really, really like Cortland Sutton this year. Mm-hmm. But that's the exact thing I'm talking about. Sutton with Russell Wilson now is going to be, I think, much better. I think he's going to be the go-to over Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick. That's my feelings. I would go Jalen Waddle here. What are you guys thinking?
I would agree. I think he's going to see a lot more open space now that Tyreek is over there, and we all know how talented he is. I think there's a lot of upside with Waddle. I would agree with that.
What about you, Channing?
If there's one guy that needs to really step up this year, it's Tua. And I think, Tyreek Hill brings a lot of bang. All those running backs, oh my gosh, what a nightmare for fantasy. But as you alluded to earlier, you want somebody that's going to get you a solid amount of receptions, yards, and he'll be there for the touchdowns. Jalen Waddle all day, every day, and he's young.
So I think we're all in agreement with Jalen Waddle. They'll be the pick. Terry McLaurin goes next, followed by ETN, Josh Jacobs, Amari Cooper. a couple quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and then a couple of those receivers I mentioned, Michael Pittman Jr. and DJ Moore. So we're back here at the 505. Again, your running back available is Elijah Mitchell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Harris, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Walker, all guys, A.J. Dillon, all guys that you can make arguments for here if we had two receivers already. And I'm not suggesting because there's three running backs and there's one receiver, we must go get a receiver here. I'm not suggesting that in any way whatsoever. I just think that the running backs here, you have other value in guys like Chase Edmonds and Rashad Penny that you can get later on in the draft that will give you similar value, where I think the tight ends here that are in position, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, even Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas is available here in the 5th round also. Guys like that I feel like give you a lot higher upside. To me, this pick is Courtland Sutton. Like I mentioned, with Russell Wilson, the quarterback now in Denver, that's the guy that I would go with.
See, yeah, the only other guy I would consider maybe taking over Sutton would be Godwin.
I'm sorry, Justin, would be who?
Godwin.
So Godwin. So I hear you about Godwin. My only concern with Godwin is coming off the ACL.
True.
Late in the season, and is already being reported that he could possibly start on the PUP list.
That's a good point.
That's a -4 games right off the bat at minimum. So that worries me a little bit with Godwin. Channing, what about you?
I want to grab one of those Bronco receivers. Jerry Jeudy is the injury problem. But then I see Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson continued to produce in Chicago. I think he's a little undervalued.
He was garbage. He was complete garbage in 2021.
Is garbage. Sorry, Bears fans. Bears suck. But we saw Matthew Stafford. Robert Woods is gone. Allen Robinson's there. I will go with Courtland Sutton, but let's keep eyes on Allen Robinson this year. Don't be surprised if he becomes a stud.
So are we all in agreement on Courtland Sutton then?
Fine by me.
And Jerry Jeudy, just he gets injured too much. I avoid injuries at all costs if I can.
I'm with you there. I don't like taking guys that I know are going to have high potential for getting injured. So we have a pretty balanced roster here: 3 running backs, 2 receivers. Your boys' guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just went off the board. So we're here in the 6th round. I'm okay going quarterback if it's somebody that I know. Channing, I know you're drooling over Jalen Hurts now here in the 6th round. Tight ends, Dalton Schultz, still good value here. Although I'd still rather wait a lot later. The receivers available, Brandon Cooks, who's somehow, some way just continues every single year to put up 1,000 yards. I can't explain it for the life of me. Darnell Mooney, the only receiver for Chicago available here also. With the running backs, Damian Harris, Miles Sanders still available. Miles Sanders and Kenneth Walker are the 2 guys that really stick out to me here as potential running backs for me to go after. Channing, I'll start with you. Who are you targeting here?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's no surprise. Justin, are you
am so high on Hurts this year.
Well, I like his line of thinking in terms of quarterback because I think it's time to grab one, but I disagree on who. I think you got to go with Russ. It's the comeback revenge tour. He's got a lot of talent to work with there in Denver. You know, you could argue Dak, but I think Russ might have a little bit more upside this year.
So let me ask you this. We see here, and this is strategy, right? Mm-hmm. We see here teams 1 and 2 each have quarterbacks. So that means I only have to worry about team 3 and team 4 taking a quarterback.
True.
And if I can argue that I'm okay with either Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, or Russell Wilson as my quarterback, to me, that says I'm going to take another position here, and I'm going to wait for that to come back around, and then I'll draft a quarterback. Because maybe all 3 of them are still available. Maybe 2 of those guys are taken, and the decision is made for me. What do you think about that, Justin?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid strategy. That was smart to point that out. Yeah, well, let's see. What does Team 3 and Team 4 have? If you scroll up a little bit, do they?
So they don't have
Neither of them have
yet.
quarterbacks, so that's a
Yeah,
slight
Team
risk.
3
That's a
is
risk.
stacked on running back.
Yeah, they're running back heavy, which tells me they're probably in a position to go wide receiver. Team 4 went with 2 running backs and 3 receivers so far. So to me, it's telling me you might be looking at a running back here. To me, I think I'm going running back. I probably go with. It's a toss-up for me between Miles Sanders and Kenneth Walker.
Oh, I got the answer.
Please.
Enlighten us.
I got the answer. It's right there in front of you.
Kareem
Hunt might be an RB1 this year.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
No. I can't.
Watch it. They're going to move him. Cleveland's going to move him. Kareem Hunt always produces. Always.
Yeah, but that's perspective, though. You don't know that's going to happen. You don't know.
He is the best handcuff in football, but with some standalone value.
Is always.
I can't take Kareem Hunt.
I know Walker unproven. We don't know how much field he's going to see. Damian Harris, you could go that route.
He's your 4th running back on a team that drafted him in the 2nd round.
Miles Sanders, sure.
If it were up to me, I'm going Kenneth Walker here. That would be my pick.
I mean, being an MSU guy as I am, saw the guy up close in person. He is a beast, and I think he's in line to get touches right away. So I think if you're going to take a rookie running back and it's not Breece Hall, Ken Walker might be your guy.
Sorry, Jenny, you've been outvoted. Kenneth Walker.
I actually just joined a league with. I just joined a league with Justin, and I traded for Kenneth Walker. So throw him up there.
See? Follow your own advice.
So our strategy kind of worked out for us a little bit. Jalen Hurts did go to Team 3, followed by Miles Sanders, Darnell Mooney, Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt, and then a couple more tight ends, Dalton Schultz and Dallas Goedert. We're at the 7th round here. I don't know who Team 12 has. I just have no idea.
Not important. They're not important.
No, they don't really exist. I do see Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, all taken previously. I'm okay in the 7th round here taking a quarterback. I'm good with Russ. I'm good with Dak. I'm good with either of them. I prefer Russ because of the Courtland Sutton stack that would already have been built in. So I'd prefer Russ over Dak here. If you guys want to wait any further, running backs Cordero Patterson, that running back receiver flex kind of guy. Channing, I know your guy, Tony Pollard, he's here and available. The wide receiver, we do only have 2. Probably need some depth, especially 2 guys that have come off injuries before. Brandon Cooks still available with those 1,000 yards. And I see a major tier break after Brandon Cooks. Drake London's, Juju Smith, Devonta Smith. A guy I love in Elijah Moore, but I'm not sure other people are as high because of Zach Wilson, even though I'm extremely high. If it were my pick and my pick alone, I'd be going with Brandon Cooks here. But what are your Channing, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts?
I see a lot of value at wide receiver on that list you just threw up. So I'm going quarterback, and I'll go the safe route with Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is still there too, man. That's hard.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll go with Russ. Russ is going to have a revenge tour, guys. And this is going to be his last chance to win it. With Denver. So we have, let's talk strategy. We have Courtland Sutton. Let's go Russell Wilson.
Justin, you good with that?
I am fine with that as well.
All right. Russell Wilson's a pig. Brandon Cooks goes next. Cordell Patterson, Jake London, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. The quarterback run began. Team 12 took a couple people. I don't know who they did. Rashad Bateman, Devonta Smith, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Moore, who I wanted, and Tony Pollard comes back. This is the only reason I wouldn't have taken Russell Wilson is because Matthew Stafford is still here, and I could have taken Brandon Cooks as my wide receiver 3 and still got Stafford, but that's neither here nor there. I think we're in a position now where we have to go with a receiver, and the top guy on this list screams value to me, and that is Hunter Renfrow, a guy that, despite Devontae Adams being there, has already built that rapport with Derek Carr. We've seen it, where he's not going to put up incredibly monster games, but he has such a high floor.
Yes.
I'm all messed up. He has such a high floor where at a minimum he's going 5 catches for 45 yards every single week. That's your baseline. We talk about it with rushing quarterbacks and a guy like Lamar. Like because of that baseline, there's so little risk. I see that same thing with Hunter Renfrow, where he's so sure-handed. The dude's an absolute mammoth of just like a heart and inspiration of a football player, where everything that team asks, and they reward him by putting him on the field and giving him more targets. And Derek Carr loves throwing to him. So I think, to me, Hunter Renfrow would be the pick here. Other receivers available: Robert Woods, Chase Claypool, who Chase Claypool said this week he's the top 3 receiver in all of football.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, Allen Lazard, the Green Bay Packers' number 1 option. Which way are you guys leaning? Justin, I'll start with you. Which way are you leaning?
I think at where we are at this point in the draft, Hunter is a very good choice. Obviously Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. He's the clear number 1, but when you already have the established familiarity with Derek Carr, and Devontae is obviously going to be drawing double, possibly even triple teams, knowing him, Hunter is still going to get his touches, and I think where we are in the draft right now, he's a great pick.
Channing, what do you say?
I think this is where you separate the personality of the owner. Hunter Renfrow is the safest pick out there. He's going to grab you catches all day, every day. Awesome. I'm going Gabriel Davis. He's the number 2 receiver in Buffalo. I think he's going to have a huge year. I just got him on that Kenneth Walker trade. Gabriel Davis, Kenneth Walker. I love me some Chris Olave too. Michael Thomas may start rough.
Yeah, that's biased.
Play. And then we have Kamara, guys. Olave's there to catch balls, but I'm going Gabriel Davis. If you want to go Hunter Renfrow, I'm okay with it. He's going to produce. He's going to be consistent, but Gabriel Davis could just have higher ceilings. He's going to be more of your up and down, where Renfrow will be your solid.
Right, and I agree with that. I think Gabriel Davis has potential. Like we saw it in the AFC Championship game where he put up 4 touchdowns. He has that potential because of Josh Allen. I completely agree with that. I just don't see. I'm not buying on the hype of Gabriel Davis. I just can't do it. I can't get all on board with it. Hunter Renfrow, I think, is a guy that he's not as much of a risk. Gabriel Davis, yeah, he can put up that 4 touchdown game. Gabriel Davis also in the realm of possibility has 1 catch for 13 yards and loses you a week because of it. Hunter Renfrow simply will not do that. Barring injury, which we cannot predict, Hunter Renfrow will get you in a half PPR league a minimum of 8 points every single week, no matter what. It's unbelievable how consistent he is with it. So that's the guy I would go with. And I think we're all on board with that.
Yep.
All right, Hunter Renfrow is the pick, and it's interesting. As we get later in these rounds, the depth and the thought process of who do you want to go after, and the thought process of position versus upside versus floor, you can start to see that there's a lot more different options that people can go with. So Stafford went after that, followed by not Jalen Hurts. I'm the wrong way. Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox, Chris Olave, Devin Singletary, James Cook. There's like 5 Bills that went here in these 3 picks. Robert Woods and Zach Ertz. 1, 2, 3. We have 5 picks left to go. We have our quarterback. We have 1, 2, 3 receivers, and we have 4 running backs. So ideally, to me, I'd probably have 5 running backs on my roster. My last one would probably be some sort of guy that either an Alexander Madison, because of the Dalvin Cook we have, kind of that handcuff, or a Tyler Algier, and I'd wait all the way to the end for him, for a super high upside guy like that. From the tight end position, Pat Freiermuth is there. Mike Gesicki, who I absolutely love again this year, is out there. The receivers, we have 3. I'd be okay going with a 4th here. Christian Kirk got all that money. I think Allen Lazard is also another guy that's a very safe pick, a guy that is going to be the number 1 target for Aaron Rodgers this year. We already have Aaron Jones as well. So the upside between, scoring drives kind of gets minimalized, but it's also, you're talking about Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers at the end of the day. So it's still somebody that, it's not a big name, but it's a big deal, if you know what I mean. So Channing, we'll go back to you now. Where positionally, player-wise, what are you thinking?
So number one, Zach Ertz would have been my guy here, but he went right before it, so that sucks. The tight ends, I could go to Gesicki. I'm not. I don't know what's going on in Miami. They have so many players. Alan Lazard is our Hunter Renfrow. He's gonna get your consistency. Dude, I'm a risk taker. I'm going Chase Claypool. You want to be a top 3? He's gonna. If he's gonna back it up, why wouldn't you want him? What is that, our 4th receiver? I would take a chance on him. I really would. But Alan Lazard is your safest pick. You want to go consistency, volume. He has Aaron Rodgers.
I'm okay with either of those. So Justin, I'll let you decide. Or let me hear first. Do you want to go with the running back or a tight end
now? Let's see. I mean, as far as tight ends, I think we're okay waiting at least another round, if not 2, because most of the big guys are already off the board. And at this point, it's all pretty comparable, in my opinion. Oh, Rob Gronkowski, that's who we should take.
Don't grab him.
Yeah, obviously not. Let's see now who's available at running back. Let me see that again real quick here. So, I mean, Chase Edmonds, that's attractive.
Yes, I mean even Rashad Penny in that.
Yeah,
I guess we already have Kenneth Walker, so the upside is very, very minimal there.
Yeah, I mean I'd be fine with adding another wideout. My only reservation with Claypool is you don't know how quickly Kenny Pickett is going to catch on. Obviously, Claypool has the talent; he just needs to back it up. And obviously, I feel a bit more confident about Aaron Rodgers than I do Kenny Pickett at this point, but. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'd be fine with either of those. There's J-Mo sitting there, but obviously he could be out for a while, so you don't want to take that risk. I'll leave it up to you guys on that one.
Well, being that both of you can't make decisions, I'll make it for you. I'm going to go Alan Lazard. I think a guy that is just going to be super consistent every single week with Aaron Rodgers there. Again, it's the Aaron Rodgers effect. So I'll take that over, like you said, trusting Kenny Pickett. I'll trust Aaron Rodgers over Kenny Pickett a billion times over and over again. So we're here at the 10:08. J-Mo's still available. So we have 4 picks left. One's going to be a tight end. One's going to be a defense. So we have 2 picks, really. We're pretty balanced. We have 4 receivers, and we have 4 running backs. I would look here to go with 1 more running back, 1 more receiver, a tight end, and a defense. The running back I want to target is either Alexander Madison, which we can get either here or probably around later, or Tyler Algier, who I think could be the starting running back for the Falcons going forward. From the receiver position, I'm okay taking a Jameson Williams, a guy that isn't going to play right away, but has incredibly high upside for a guy that even can put up big numbers year 1. The other guy I like here, Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati. They're an explosive offense, a guy that I think can ball out. So that's where I'm leaning between all those dilemmas. What about Justin? I'll start with you. What about you?
I mean, my position is we need at least 1 Lions player. So no, I'm kidding. I'll be objective. I do think of the receivers left. Assuming J-Mo can get healthy here, we all know how talented he is. Likely would have been the first receiver off the board had he not torn that ACL. And at this point in the game, when we've already kind of got what we need, and, it's those later rounds where you're just taking shots, hoping it helps you out, there is a whole heck of a lot of upside for him. But I also really like the argument for Algier. As you said, I think he's in line to be getting a lot of touches there. And if you can pick up a potential starting running back this late in the game, you're kind of hard-pressed not to do something like that.
There's one more thing I want to add, is that depending on how many guys you play with and if you know your league mates and whatnot, a lot of guys will look at the rankings and kind of pick from there. Jameson Williams is the highest ranked receiver. The odds of him getting through 8 more picks is probably pretty minimal. Alexander Madison is the 4th ranked running back, and if I weren't to get him and got Tyler Algier instead, who's ranked way below, people aren't going. The average fan that's drafting isn't going to be searching for certain guys. They're going to see the guys at the top and make a decision from there. So because of that, I would go with JMO here because I know he's not coming back to me, where Madison and Algier potentially can. Or do you guys want to go with the tight end? Hunter Henry, Cole Kmet, Alberto?
One of my favorite things to do is stash a player that is going to come later in the year. Michael Thomas just kind of pulled it, but it's awesome when you have a guy like JMO who you're going into week 4, 5, 6, and you're starting to get a feel of the league. You're starting to do that, and then bam, it's like a trade. You get a free guy right off the bench who's like going to come in with a spark, and you could start him immediately. I love JMO here, and I would love to go Madison the following round to handcuff Delvin.
So I'm going with that. We're taking Jameson Williams in the 10th round, followed by Kadarius Toney, Ramondre Stevenson, Deshaun Watson, Michael Gallup, Kirk Cousins, Russell Gage, Ronald Jones, Rondell Moore, and we are back on the clock. So we have the option between Madison for that handcuff with Dalvin Cook. We can go with Tyler Algier that we've discussed, because we do need to take a tight end and a kicker. Any thoughts as to a backup quarterback? I'm not a fan of it. I see a couple teams have done it. I don't like doing that. But what are you guys' thoughts and feelings of doing things like that?
To me, it depends on who your starter is. I think with who we have, I think we'd be safe not worrying about it. If it was someone who was a bit more injury prone, I'd have that concern. But knowing who we have, I don't think that's necessarily a route we'd have to go. I think you're better off getting some more talent that you know for a fact you're going to use.
I agree. I'm off the backup quarterback chain. What do you feel about backup quarterbacks?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. If you have a guy you're going to start, like a Russell Wilson, you're going to start him every week, right? It's very hard not to start the guy, and I don't want to have that internal struggle, all that crap, especially with Tua, Fields, Lawrence. I'm going Madison here. I got to handcuff Delvin. He's going to go down at least a couple weeks. Madison's my guy.
I agree. I'm with Alexander Madison here as well, just for the handcuff purpose. And you're talking the 11th round, there's only 2 picks to go, so I'm good with Madison here. So we take him, Hunter Henry, Cole Kmet, Tua goes, Damian Pierce, Gronk for some whatever reason. The tight ends obviously are very slimming down. We have nope, we don't have Irv Smith available. We have Noah Fant, who's going to be the number 1 tight end for Seattle. We have David Njoku. It's pretty much going to be a flexing position here. Trey McBride, tight end, rookie tight end for Arizona. Brevin Jordan could be the number 1 guy in Houston. There's a lot of really bad options. It is what it is at this point. You're flexing the position. So there's 2 schools of thought here. You can either try and go just take whichever tight end, maybe the Noah Fant, the guy with the highest upside, the best actual football player, or we have the last round, which is going to be everyone chasing their defenses. You can potentially get the one you want here because everybody else is going to take a defense pretty soon. What's the thoughts and feelings about sneaking for that defense now, taking whoever you believe is the number 1 team, and then taking the tight end because it's going to be a streaming position anyway. It's pretty irrelevant with your last pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have the answer right there. We've already established that tight end at this point in time is going to be a weakness for that team. So, and that's going to be the case whether you take that tight end now or you take it next round. So, obviously team defenses can be kind of hard to predict, but at the very top cream of the crop, there are some tiers there. So I think you try and pick out the best defense.
And what defense would that be?
Let's see. That's a good question.
Tampa, San Francisco. San Francisco kind of worries me because the offense is in the division. I'd probably go with Tampa as my number 1, having to face Atlanta twice, Carolina twice, New Orleans, and who knows, knowing that quarterback situation, facing them twice. That would probably be my go-to. What do you guys feel? Are we?
I like it.
My
no,
vote would
I
either
like
be
it.
Tampa or Tennessee.
Tennessee with the same thought process, playing Jacksonville, playing Houston. I'm with you. I think Tampa Bay's pass rush will get you more fantasy points because of their sacks in Tennessee. So that gives me the edge.
All right, that sounds good to me.
And
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
we know where Tampa's going this year. Yeah, Tampa's gonna win some games.
All right, so
I
then
want
you
David
get
Njoku.
yeah, you want a Njoku? Cool. I'm good with that. They don't have a quarterback. They might not all
Deshaun
year.
Watson is paying all these. Yeah, Deshaun Watson's paying all these women off. He's playing. Njoku's he's gonna roll.
Yep, I'm with you. No, we're not going to do that. All right, that does it for our mock draft. Nope, trying to stop that. There we go. Back to that screen, guys. Any closing thoughts? We'll put the draft out there. Any thoughts and feelings to the draft as to anything you would have wanted to change?
Shannon, go ahead, sir.
I thought the team. I thought that team was really good. I mean, not to boost our own selves, but that was a solid team. And even getting Njoku so late, and then we had top guys at every position. The running back position's the hardest to build. Team 3, I think, had 4, but they had your Saquons, your C-Max, guys that may get injured. We're rock solid there. Russell was rock solid. And we went consistency with wide receivers. So we'll lose a little on the receiver end because we don't have really high ceiling guys. But I think consistency overall, we got J-Mo coming late. I love it. I really do.
I completely agree with you guys. Well, that's all the time we got for the DFS docket tonight. Don't forget to check out Untitled, everything they got going on. It's just absolutely incredible stuff. We're super proud to be a part of that network. And with that, the courtroom is not closed.